Namaskar. Om. Today we are dealing with the Shankara Bhashya of the second chapter of 18th shloka of the second chapter. Andavanda ime deha nityasyokta sharirinaha anashino aprameyasya tasmad yudhyasva bharata. In the last verses we have seen the way to differentiate existent and non-existent things, Sat and Asat. And in the last verse, the Sat was qualified. How to identify that existent thing. Now Krishna is saying, Andavanda ime deha. These bodies which belong to the Sat, existent thing, which is indestructible, those bodies are perishable. Even though the Sat, the soul is existent, the bodies which belong to them are perishable. And know this soul to be indestructible and eternal. And then he is allowing Arjuna to fight. We will see the Shankara Bhashya. Andavanda, ando vinasho vidyade yesham te andavanda. Those things which are perishable, they are called andavanda. Just like an apple, which if you keep the apple in the open for a few days, it will decay and perish. Likewise, these bodies, after that time period, they will get perished or destroyed. Hence, these bodies are andavanda, perishable. Yadha mrigadrishnikadau sadbuddhi anivritta pramana nirupanande vichhidyade. Likewise, the water in the mirage. When somebody knows the truth that there is no water in the mirage, that intelligence that there is water, that knowledge will be destroyed. Likewise, these bodies will also be destroyed. Satasya anda ime deha swapnamaya deha divachchandavanda. And another example is that the dream, the body seen in the dream, when we wake up, those bodies are destroyed. Likewise, these bodies of that eternal soul will also be destroyed after a time period. Nityasya sharirina shariravadah anashina aprameyasya atmanaha andavanda iti yukta vivekibhi ityartha. The eternal, indestructible, non-comprehensible soul, incomprehensible soul, which is having these bodies. And those bodies will be perished or destroyed. And those people having such wisdom, they realize that these bodies are to be perished, and they will be perished. And they don't take those things into their hearts, and they don't grieve about them, because it's a natural thing. So when the apple is destroyed after 2 or 3 days, we don't grieve. We know that it is the natural course of the apple. Likewise, the natural course of these bodies, they will get perished. Nityasya anasinaha iti na punaruktam. nityastvasya dvidatvat loke nashasya cha. Shankara is putting a question. In this verse, two words, Nitya and Anashinaha. These two words have similar meanings, but they are used in this same verse. So, is it not a repetition? A word, two words of similar meaning is used, and is it not a repetition? That's the question. So Shankara says there are two kinds of indestructibility. So that is, he is showing that. Yada deho basmi bhuda darshanam gado nashtaha uchyade. When our body is dead, we say that it is lost. That body is lost. Okay. And also, vidyamana api anyatha parinado vyathyadi yukta jado nashta uchyade. When the body is getting some major illness, some neurological damage or some cancer, then also we say that the body is lost. So these two kinds, when the body is lost by death, we say it is lost. When the body is affected severely by some disease, then also we say it's lost. So two kinds of loss is shown by Shankara. Tatra anashino nityasya iti dividhena vinashena asambandho asetyada. Shankara says God wants to say that these two kinds of loss is not there in soul. That's why Krishna uses the word Nitya and Anashinaha in this verse, in this 18th verse. Anyatha pradivyaadivat api nityatvam syat atmanah tat ma bhut idi nityasya anashne idi aha. Not only that, ordinary people think that our earth and this space, they are permanent. So that's a kind of relative permanence. And the permanence of the soul, that is called Kudastha Nitya. That is an eternal thing. There will be no change in any period of time. So our soul or Atma is not having any change in any period of time. That's absolute permanence. And people consider earth and space, that is a relative permanence. So Krishna wants to say that Atma is not like that. It is not a relative permanence, but it is eternal permanence. That is Kudastha Nityaha. The permanence of Atma is eternal. There is no negotiation about that. Aprameyasya na prameyasya pratyakshadi pramane parichedyasya ityardaha. So aprameya. Prameya means incomprehensible through the senses. You cannot perceive it through your eyes, your nose or your ears. So it is not comprehensible through the senses. Hence it is called aprameya. So the objection is there, Nanu agamena atma parichidyade pratyakshadina cha purvam. The objection is that Atma has been described by the Upanishads. Upanishads describe Atma in many words, and many people have realized it. So, how can you say that it is incomprehensible or it is not perceptible answers, Shankara answers, na atmana swadasiddhatvat siddhehi atmani pramadari pramitso pramananyeshana bhavati. Shankara says that it is not completely incomprehensible, because everybody has the feeling that my soul exists. Aham asmi. I do exist. That's a feeling of everybody. So, everybody has some knowledge about their soul. That is why people try to search Atma through Pramana or Upanishads. That's why they want to find out how it is. What's the real nature of Atma? What's the real nature of the soul? That's why they have the idea that their soul exists. Aham asmi. I do exist. Nahi पूर्वम इद्धम अहम इति आत्मानम अप्रमाय पश्चात प्रमेय परिच्छेदाय प्रवर्तते नहि आत्मा नाम कस्यचित् अप्रसिद्धो भवति. So the feeling of people is that I do exist. If the feeling was that it was completely incomprehensible, or people have no idea about their soul, then people will not try to find out this soul. People will not spend their lifetime searching for the real nature of the soul. That will not happen, because people have some feeling or some idea that it is Atma, the soul is perceptible. Shastram tu andyam pramanam atadharmadhyaropana matra nivartakatvena pramanyam atmana pratipadyate. Our Upanishads, it is the end knowledge. End knowledge means that there is no knowledge beyond that. It will make you understand the final truth. There is no truth beyond that, or there is no truth superior to that. Hence we say it is Andhya Pramanam, the end knowledge. Veda Andha, the end of all knowledges. There is nothing beyond that. There is nothing beyond Atma. So once you realize that, you become that. Then you don't have to know anything else. Natu ajñādārdha jñāpakatvena. So it is not making you know something which is unknown. Atma is already known. Never think that Upanishads are trying to convince you something unknown. They are not dealing with a subject which is unknown, or which is far away, or which is not known by anybody before. So they are trying to, Upanishads are trying to convince you about a thing which you already know, which you already experience. Tadhaja Shruti yat sakshat aparokshat brahma ya atma sarvandaraha. How is that? Because the Upanishads say that as sakshat aparokshat brahma, this Brahma is known to everybody. It is a direct experience. As sakshat aparokshat. You are knowing that aham asmi, I do exist. So it's a direct perception to everybody. Not only that, ya atma sarvandaraha. This Atma is present in everybody. It is inside everybody. It is sarvandaraha. So we are not talking about a thing which is unknown, or a thing which is far away, or a thing which is completely obscured. It's not like that. We are talking about a thing which is known to everybody. Then Yasmat evam nitya avikrija atma tasmat yudhyasva. Yuddhat uparamam ma karshityardha. Then why Krishna is trying to force Arjuna to war? Shankara answers, Krishna is not forcing but only allowing him. We will see that in the next day.